I lead by example. Like my son ain't hearing me cuss, right? Now my daughter, she 10.5 years old and she called her mama in a different season. She heard the things, okay? Welcome to Fridays with Tab and Chance. I am Tabitha Brown. This is my husband.
I'm Chance. What's up?
You all right?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm really excited about this topic.
Okay. Bring the beat in.
Fridays with Tab and Chance.
Ba-dum, bum, bum.
Fridays with Tab and Chance. So listen, before we get started, I want to talk to you about something.
Babe, I was gonna do the
No, I just heard something, and we got to get serious about this. So, you told me about Anthony, right? So if Anthony is really gonna be out here, and you got people who really talking about using our music or helping this music, get us in the studio, I need you to do a better job at harmonizing. Your days are coming off real harsh. I need you to soften it up, put a little bit more air in there, because I can hear it right here in my left ear, and you're not taking it serious. So, and I know you know how to harmonize. You learned it in Mr. Best class. So you got to do a better job because they hearing this, right? Okay? I need you to do better. Moving forward. I know you want to be cute and you having fun, but I need you to lock in and we're going to harmonize, okay? Don't get offended. That's called constructive criticism. Now, just nod your head that you're in agreement, okay? Okay? You want to try it again? You want to try again?
So today's topic,
Okay.
if I was who I used to be, amen, we would hear me use words. Today's topic is about cussing. Kids specifically to be out here cussing.
Mm-hmm.
In this moment, it would have been a good way to show an example on how people get cussed out. Oh, but the way my Lord and Savior is set up. Oh, he's delivered me and saved Chance.
I don't know why. I just gave you constructive criticism, Tab.
You see, the Bible says, keep playing with me and find out.
I don't think it, where it say that?
In the book of Tabitha. Nuck if you buck. Okay, y'all had a lot to say on that episode about the self-defense and teaching Quest and all that.
Oh,
this is how I know.
This is where his energy coming
My
from.
son, he don't have to go over there, honey, because he can learn it right here. Now.
Okay, well.
First of all, I'm the one who got you singing correctly on Fridays with Tab and Chance. Choice wrote this song for us, and you used to be singing it too fast. I helped you bring it down.
We're not talking about
harmonize.
tempo. We're talking about harmony.
I helped you. First of all, how many years did you do with Mr. Best? Thank you. How many years did you sing in choir in your church?
This how
thank you.
Then act like it.
No.
Then why does your days?
Because I'm trying to
soften your days.
I'm trying to bring you in.
No, don't bring me in on that.
I'm trying to help get to where you at because you won't get over here.
No, I need you to I can hear it. You ain't got enough you ain't got enough air in it. You got to soften it up. You coming off real harsh. All right, let's get to the topic.
Ain't that what they do when people start cussing? You're trying to tempt me.
All right, come on, let's get to the topic.
So today's topic is just realized Blackie was right there. Blackie said, "What?" Well, let's talk about how we came to the topic, okay? Because the topic is about kids out here, younger and younger it seems, cursing, okay? And sometimes we are noticing that some parents ain't saying nothing, okay?
Mm-hmm. And I'm away. Go ahead. I'm away.
He is not one of the parents, okay? Mm-hmm. And so we want to talk about today's world versus how we grew up, but also let's talk about how we got to this subject. Quest had a birthday party here at the house. It was a basketball party. All his friends came over. It was about 25 kids, all little boys, to play basketball. Okay? This was the official. All right? He was orchestrating everything. They was doing 3-point contests, skill set challenge, dunk contest. 5-on-5? Y'all did
we did a couple of games.
All the different things. And one of the little boys, two of the little boys slipped up. Well, one probably slipped up. One was intentional.
Yeah, no.
Or were they both intentional?
It was very well used. It was on beat, and it was not a mishap or misjudgment. It was his. You could tell this is normal for him.
And we're talking about 12-year-olds.
Now it became worthy of topic at Quest's birthday party. However, it's been something that I have been struggling with in recent, where I've had to, with new kids who didn't grow up with me coming into my program, I've had to, on 2 occasions, because it ain't gonna happen several times with me. On 2 occasions, I've had to stop and get them together, and then in company of kids at basketball games, right? High school is a different subject, but in junior high and even in high school, right? The level of what I'm hearing in company with your parents
or adults
or any other adults, people of supervision, your grandparents of other kids, it has gotten to a point of where, to me, it's out of hand, and makes me question: are we now conforming to childlike behavior, or accepting, or afraid to address somebody else's kid? Are we out of line if we say to somebody, "Hey man, watch your mouth," right?
Or are we still doing it?
Or are we still doing it? Now, I'm still doing it.
We still doing it.
I don't know how not to do it. I just don't know how not to do it. How I addressed it at the birthday party, I stopped the party. Stop everything, music, everything. I'm one of their, like, hey, listen, I'm real cool, but a child gonna be in a child's place, especially when you in my space, my living space. Where it became an interesting topic is where I started to talk to my wife about it, and I was like, where is the line now? Because now the kids are saying it, doing things so well, and there's a look that you get in return to where it's got me. It ain't gonna stop how I move. I'm gonna always address kids as kids. I always do it with love, but I also do it direct and as an adult, to let them know you're not on my level. And I don't care who has told you that you are. When you in company of me, you gonna act accordingly. You're gonna put some respect on my name. But it became an interesting topic because I was discussing it with my wife and saying, where is the line now? Is that just in your space, right? Are we more acceptable to it if, okay, well, you at those people's house, or if I saw your child, or if I'm in the mall, and or just some random person, not Uncle Chance, not me, right? I'm just saying, and your kid came back to you and said, some man told me to watch my mouth. Are we giving our kids now the benefit of the doubt, giving them, or are we addressing them and saying, well, what did you say? And if your kids say, well, I was cursing, are we accepted to that kind of stuff? If your kid is in a basketball game, are we now making excuses to say, well, it's a very intense moment. It's in the sport. So all the F-bombs, all of that stuff, we're now looking over it with a 11, 12-year-old and saying, or is that where we at? Right. So it became a topic. What's your thoughts on it, babe?
I'm gonna be as real as I can be. I know, first and foremost, I still ain't grown enough to be cussing around my daddy. I'm 45. My elders, I just ain't doing it. Like that, you know, even when in my good cussing years, I won't doing it. I do think that times have changed in a way to where kids are a little bit more looser in the lip, right? I don't know why that is. I don't know if it's because we have more exposure and we see them more, whether it be on social media or whatever.
See them as who? You talking about the kids? See the
Right,
kids
like
more?
you see videos of kids cussing. You see video, like, I don't know if it's that why it seems like it's more than what it was when we was growing up. But I will also know that growing up as a kid, I was cussing. Yeah. Secretly. Right? And because I know at 12 and 13 years old, what I would say amongst my friends, I've had those conversations with my kids. I was like, listen, you better not let me hear it.
Right there. Amongst your friends.
But I also have a conversation with them and say, listen, I don't want you cussing, right? And I've let them know, like most people who use cussing on a regular, they have a limited vocabulary. They're choosing to use this word instead of another word that could express themselves. But cussing can also be a form of self-expression in a moment. I get it, right? However, you're going to have respect for everything around you. Teachers, adults, family, friends. If it get back to me, because the rule is, ain't no cussing, you're not grown, right? But also, I lead by example. Like my son ain't hearing me cuss, right? Now, my daughter, she 10.5 years old and she called her mama in a different season. She heard the things, okay? But it's still, you don't do as I do. You do as I say, right? If I tell you it ain't these are the rules in the house, these are the rules. But also I was taught the same way. Ain't no cussing around no adults, ain't no talking back to no adults. Like you not grown. And if an adult is telling you in a moment to respect them, now of course there are some adults that going to take advantage of being an adult to children. We ain't talking about them adults, the adults that don't deserve the respect. But as an adult, with like in the season that I'm in now with our children, it's still a conversation that we have. Like this is the rule: ain't no cussing, ain't no talking back. But again, as I was saying before, I lost my train of thought. Was you have some adults who kind of take advantage. They ain't really have the best interest of your children. They're just trying to be bullies to kids, or just nasty to children. We ain't talking about them adults. We talking about real adults who are concerned about children. If you in my presence, like if we at a basketball game, this has happened before, and there's been kids behind me, they 10 to 12 to 13, 14, and they with their friends, but it's me and, my son, who at the time might have been like 7 or 8, we watching games or whatever the case, and if they cuss, I say, hey, don't be using that language behind me. Y'all not grown. Mm-hmm. And if you're going to do that, go sit somewhere else, but you're not going to do it sitting right here. I ain't got no problem with that. And I also don't have no problem if they mama come up and say, you said something, I most certainly did. Yes, I did. That's just what it is, and we can have that conversation. But in my presence, I'm going to command the respect that I deserve as a woman and as a grown woman, right? And as a mother with a child right here. But I'm also going to do it if I don't have a child right here. I'm an adult. Respect your environment, right? There could also be an elderly person in front of me. we're not finna be doing all that. No, not on my watch. I just don't feel good about it.
Yeah.
Now, am I gonna go out of my way, like if I'm at the mall and I see some kids over there cutting the food and doing all that, I ain't gonna go out of my way to go over there to them. That's they in their space, right? Being kids, doing what kids do. But if you know I'm right here, and sometimes kids, cause kids be kidding, they'll test you. They know you right there. They know you here, but it's something that they feel like, hey, I'm gonna say it anyway. Okay.
Because they ain't never been addressed.
Right. Or they have, but they trying to test.
Yeah.
So that's my thought on it. I think that, to your point, we definitely are at a time where some parents don't care. Because you could clearly tell, because one of these kids who was doing the cussing at the party, he also cussed at a game with his daddy there, right? Remember? It was a football, I think it was.
No, I don't remember him at the football. I only remember this. Hey.
Yeah, because I remember us having this conversation. I was like, oh, he did that before, which made us feel like, wait, he must do this at home because his mom and dad ain't say nothing.
Yeah.
But you not gonna do it over here, sweetie.
Yeah, I think I seen him afterwards.
Yeah.
And the boy looked like he was quivering in his boots.
Yeah, but sometimes you gotta like shake up a kid a little bit and let them know, like, hey, what you doing? But also with love.
Yeah.
Hey, if this is how you feel like you need to express yourself, I want you to try to hold that in. Like, really be observant and think about where you are, but you cannot be disrespectful here, especially not in my house, under my roof.
Do you think
on my property?
So, I think we kind of hinted on this when we was talking about making this a topic. Do you think it's cultural? Do you think it's do you think that it could be a cultural thing, and if so, does that matter, or how do you know what I mean? And I know my answer. I'm just saying. So
I think sometimes, but I also know that I've seen it in our culture change.
Yes.
Right? So I don't necessarily know if it's cultural or not, because there used to be a time
more
where
acceptive.
I would be able to tell you there ain't nowhere in the world you can see a black kid cuss around their mama or their grandma. But now I be seeing it. And I'm like, I would have been 6 feet under. Y'all never knew Tab. It would have been no Tab and chance if I was out here talking crazy like that. And listen, I had a cussing grandma. I had one that cussed and I had one that was holy, okay? So even though she cussed, I couldn't cuss around my grandma. Baby, I'd have false teeth going into high school. Do you understand? So, but these days, I do see, we witness it.
Yeah.
We see it. We see, like encouragement of it, which is a crazy thing. There's a trend going on right now where they're giving kids permission to go in the bathroom and cuss, and they think it's cute.
Say whatever you want to say.
Say whatever you want to say. You get to get it out and say it in the bathroom. And I'm like, why?
I'm gonna tell you what I think. This is what I think. I think people sometimes want to encourage kids to grow up fast so they can relieve themselves of the responsibility of raising them. The sooner you grow up, or the sooner that I can now release myself of, I think that I'm releasing myself of this thing, this anxiety that lives in me since you were brought on this earth. So the quicker you grow up, the quicker I can feel better about you. That's what, when I see those kind of videos, I'm like, you're trying to rush that child to grow up so you can feel better.
I mean, I don't know.
That's just my thinking.
I mean, and that could be, I don't know if that's it, but I think that sometimes they may be in a rush to be their friend.
Yes.
Instead of parenting. Maybe that's easier.
Less responsibility.
It makes them feel like, oh, I can relate to them a little bit better. Maybe. But I also feel like, and I've said this before, we get this amount of time for children to be children. We get a good 12 years for children to just be children.
And to be looked at as children
yeah,
too, because how people view them.
Absolutely, but even for them and how they feel, we get 10 to 12 years of them being babies and children. After 13 and going up, they are trying to adult for the rest of their life. Why not take these small amount of years that go so quickly and then just enjoy them being children? Like, don't give them adult things to say and do. We can teach responsibility. We can teach them how to take care of themselves. You know, these different scenarios and things like that, yes. But to give them adult-like mindset at such an early age because it's funny, I don't understand.
Or because a video can go viral.
But that's what I'm saying. I don't understand. Like, because also, this is also the thing you got to understand. That child may do it in the moment because they think, oh, this is funny to my mama or my dad or whoever is telling me to do it. Because they're a child. Because some of these kids are like 4 or 5 years old, that these videos that I've seen, right? 6 years old. But when they are 15 or 13 maybe, and can really think for themselves, they may not find that funny. But now it lives on the internet forever. Like, people can also be like, hey, this was you as a kid? This is like, I just think, let's think about all of the things that we're doing.
And the possibilities. So while you were talking, I'm thinking about something that I oftentimes have conversations with Quest about, right? So a lot of kids, especially in sports, they're happy when they outgrow their peers, right? And kids in the basketball world, they want to get bigger, taller, so they can appear to be bigger than the kids. Now, you associate that, and I'm always telling him, be mindful of that, bud, because the world won't know that you're 11 years old. The world, you're a big 11-year-old, okay? You're a big 11-year-old. Just be mindful. I want you to be thankful for being 11 or now being 12. But if I or we start allowing kids to now vocalize, use verbiage of, let's say, an older kid, because I don't know what age for me is going to be acceptable for cursing, right? But let's just say he appears to be 16, but he's 12. But he sounds like he's 16, but he's 12. You put him in an environment where somebody who looks at him as he's 16, he sounds like he's 16, and now they treat him like he's 16. That's what I'm concerned about, or I want people to take into consideration what you may be checking off on. You talking like you grown, and you've been blessed with a little bit more height and a little bit more size. You sound like you grown. I had an incident when I was younger that I'm very thankful for, that happened to me and in the Eden Rec, where somebody brought this to light for me. I'm in there, you're talking trash, trying to talk like the older people and all that, selling a whole bunch of wolf tickets. And I can't remember exactly how old I was. I know I was in the early teenage. And an adult man grabbed me real quick. He grabbed me up and showed me how young and how little and how weak I was. He didn't do anything to hurt me, but it reminded me, man, I'm still a little boy, and I'm in here lucky to be around grown men who know that I'm a little boy, and they're not getting offended by my grown man talk to the point where they want to hurt me. They're gonna give me some grace and try to
wake me up
and make me value that you're fortunate to be in here. You're not entitled to be in here, and you're not on my level. That's what concerns me about it when I hear it, right? What are we encouraging? And are we still in favor of the person who is grabbing them kids up? Not in the physical, but at least to say, hey, look, because that man knew me a little bit, right? I grew up in a small community, and he knew my mom on a personal level. He knew what I come from, how I was designed, and how far to go. Rest in peace, Ray Dalton. He passed away. But when I hear kids cursing these days, and I hear or I see some of the stuff, and then I was at a game, and I was sitting beside somebody, a grandparent of a child, and I was sitting right there, mid-court, and kids going up and down, and every curse word was just making me cringe. I couldn't even hold a conversation.
On the
with
court?
The dude. Like literally,
They was playing
like
and
literally, like just on the court. And I used to get frustrated in my basketball games, and you might hear me say something under my breath. Okay, because I had the type of family and people who would come out them stands on your head if they heard what I was hearing. Like you're gonna get embarrassed. And I just was looking around, and I knew that this grandparent sitting to my right, I knew she heard it. And I just kind of looking like, I'm talking about during the timeouts. I'm talking about we ain't no chaos going on. It's like full on every other word, cursing, big harsh cuss words.
From her grandchild.
I'm looking down from her grandchild. I'm looking down at the dean. I'm looking at the staff. I'm looking around for any adults to just intervene and just say, hey. I ain't talking about putting your hands on nobody. I ain't even talking about full-on embarrassment or trying to make an example out of the child. I'm talking about a simple I heard that. Hey, come here. Hey, come here real quick. Come over here. Come to me. And you just having a one-on-one, and it bothered me. It bothered me to the point of where I started to now take note of it. And my ears are very sensitive now to the cuss words, but I thought it would be good for discussion because we always trying to make sure we having real conversation, relevant conversation, and things that sometimes I think we need to be reminded of to be present in. Don't just go along with it. Don't just treat it as a very personal thing. Look at it as a society thing and what you're putting out.
The village work, really.
Yeah, it's work that we got to do as a village and as a whole, and be mindful of, because it has too many moving pieces.
Yeah.
It ain't just a word. It's gonna be those people that be like, it's just a word. We give words too much power. Okay.
Well, it already has the power.
Words in association with feelings. Words in association with appearance. Words in association with so many moving pieces are what we have to consider. It's not just a word. Mm-hmm. If you did not have those associated factors, those things that may come into play, I would be in agreement that it's just a word. But it's not that simple.
You get labeled, right? We already know, when you see a young Black boy get in trouble or even murdered, unfortunately, they try to pull up the worst videos or the worst pictures they can to show on media, right? And if there's something out there and all it is a video of a kid that's 13, 14 years old, while they're still just a child, cussing and fussing and just using all kind of crazy language, that's what they're going to choose. So to say that words don't have power, they do in that way, right? They have the power to label us. They have the power to show us as ignorant. So be mindful of when we say, oh, it's just a word. Yeah, they are all just words, but they also can be used against us. So just try to help our kids hold themselves responsible. Yes, every now and then, kids will use, cuss words, adults cussing, honey, self-expression. I get it, okay? But there's also another way that we can hold our kids accountable and teach them differently, help them have a bigger vocabulary, have them with the mindset of like, I don't really need to do it. Following the crowd is most times how it happened. That's how it happened for me. I was just like, oh, that looked fun. I'm gonna cuss too. I remember my sister was cussing, 6 years older than me. So watching, older kids do it, I was like, I want to do it too. I want to say me a bad word, right? I didn't even know it was a cuss word when I was little. I knew it as a bad word. Right. I'm going to say me a bad word too, So let us just be mindful of how we keep our children as long as we can, how we redirect them with love. We can be sharp and direct, but in a loving way. But also as adults, how we earn our respect, right? Let's make sure that children see us in a way that they want to respect us, that they can look at us and know like, oh, I definitely got to make sure I'm being respectful. This is a respectful environment, or these are respectable people. And that's all of us, But if you are acting like a child with the child, that's where they the lines get blurred and they don't know that they have to respect you or not. Because you treating them the exact same way they treating you. Like, it's a weird boundary, if that makes sense. So that's it. But listen, 10 to 12 small years, children get to be children. They might slip up and say something every now and then, redirect with love. But when they doing it intentional, redirect with love. Get them together. Let's get these cussing kids in order out here. But yeah, that's it. You got anything else back?
Nope, that's it.
All right. And if any of y'all ever children come to our house, we don't allow no cussing over here with them kids, okay? Very good. And if they come home and say that Miss Tab or Mr. Chance got me together, they telling you the truth.
Absolutely.
Very good, y'all. That's it. Until the next time, baby, y'all gonna about y'all business. Have the most amazing day. But even if you can't have a good one, don't you dare go messing up nobody else's here. We love you, and we'll see you next time. Bye. Thank you for watching this episode, honey. And if you liked it, go ahead and click right here for more of those episodes.
And if you haven't already subscribed, please remember to do so.
Very good.